I'm Bridget Williams with the Heavy Constructors Association, and we're celebrating Women in Construction Week, March 1st through March 7th. Today, I'm honored to have with me Kristin Younger, who is with Pyramid Excavation and Construction. And I'm so excited to have her here because people feel like construction is all about the feet at the project. But there's an entire back office that has to function in order for those projects to come to fruition. So good morning, Kristin. How you doing?
Thank you, Bridget. I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you accepted. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the company?
I will. As you mentioned, my name is Kristin Younger, and I have been with Pyramid since 2008. And it's really interesting how I came to construction. I used to work in information systems for international sports. So most of my life I lived abroad until 2008 in various countries.
What countries?
Oh gosh, I lived in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I lived in northern Italy, Athens, Greece, Jamaica for a bit, and the Middle East in Doha, Qatar.
Oh, wow. Did you learn the languages?
I learned the language in Malaysia. They speak Bahasa, and then I learned Greek while I lived in Greece because I lived in those the longest.
So what can you say in Greek?
Well, the easiest greeting is Kalimera, which is good morning.
Oh, Kalimera.
Kalimera.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what is good day, good evening? What is
Very similar, Kalispera.
Kalispera.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, Kalimera and Kalispera.
I like it. Sounds like a vegetable.
Like cauliflower.
Yeah.
Yeah, overseas, I face many challenges because international sports is a very male-dominated industry, just like construction is. So while I was abroad, I had everything from discrimination being a female. I was general manager for a company, so in an executive role. Oh, wow. And I would walk into meetings in Kuala Lumpur with military heads of state from the royal family, as well as their own project managers. We were working for the Commonwealth Games, which was something new in the mid-90s that they were hosting, very similar to the Olympic Games. But I would walk into a room full of all of these people. I'd have to give status reports from our company, and they wouldn't even look at me. They wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't respond to me. So after about a month of doing that every week, I would bring a male counterpart to those meetings with me. And I would sit there and answer their question, and then my male counterpart would repeat my answer, and then they would listen. But it took about 9 months of doing that for them to come around, and I think they ended up realizing what I could do, realizing the value that I could provide.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, being a trailblazer, and that's what you are,
yes,
is really difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because you have to, you want to do the work, and you're capable of doing the work, but you got to figure out how to work within the system to garner the respect to actually be successful.
And that's what I had to do. And I think they finally realized I was a hard worker, had that good work ethic. We were able to develop innovative solutions for their country to get those games going. And that's when I earned their respect.
Wow. So how long were you general manager?
We had that company for 2 years. And then at the end of that 2 years, when the games actually took place, we turned the company over to their country.
Oh, wow. So do you still keep in contact? Or?
Yes. Yes,
that is
they still
awesome.
run. Yeah, that was their first foray into computerized ticketing. They had done it for their airlines, but nothing else. No sporting events or venues, anything like that. That was all new construction and hosting the games.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
so fast forward from there, where'd you go from there?
So from Malaysia, I kind of hopped around. That was back here in the States for Salt Lake City in Utah. Then it was back abroad for Athens, Greece. And then it was Italy, and a little bit in Jamaica for World Cup cricket. And then I ended in Doha, Qatar.
So how did you get into that?
When I was a little girl, I always wanted to travel overseas. That was my biggest wish. And I would sit there and devour National Geographic magazines as well as Fast Company. Those were the two things I read. So I figured out the way to do that was to go into computer information systems, and I became a computer strategist. And I just took that chance and went over to Malaysia. And then from there, just through the connections, I ended up staying in sports. But when I came back to the States and I came into construction, I wasn't really seeking construction out specifically. I think it sort of found me. And the reason for that is because it's very similar to what I had been working in all those years. You know, it's male dominated. You have to have a strong work ethic. You have to be assertive, make people listen to you, and learn and then be a teacher. And that's really what it's about.
That is so awesome. So you came to the States, you got into construction.
Yes.
Is Pyramid a family-owned business or?
Kind of. So my older brother started it 27 years ago with his business partner. And construction's always been in our family. My dad worked with my older brother at Tomahawk Construction a long time ago. And then when my dad retired from construction, he was a superintendent for many years, about 26 years. My brother had been working for him, met his business partner, Bill Clark, and then they decided to start their own company in 1996.
And so that was where Pyramid Excavating was born.
Yes.
So did you start with the company in 1996?
I actually came in 2008 when I returned to the States, and I had assisted him remotely for many years on, as they were growing as a company. They started out very small before they were incorporated. Actually, they started in 1993 prior to being incorporated. So they worked out of a small office in Shawnee, Kansas, and I would help them just automate things. So I would automate forms, I would automate certified payrolls, all of that kind of stuff, but I did that remotely. And so when I came back to the States, it was a natural transition to come and help their office. They had expanded so much, they moved locations to Kansas City, Missouri, built their own office, and then they needed assistance just getting everything set up.
So what work does Pyramid perform?
Pyramid performs all bid work for municipalities on both sides of the state line. So it's everything from storm, sewer, sanitary, wastewater treatment plants, pump station, road construction, and a little bit of lift station work too.
Okay. And then so that is mostly municipal and private work?
It is. It's 98% municipal, about 2% private. So we'll bid jobs every single week for the various cities around the metro area. Kansas City, Missouri, City of Independence, City of Belton, etc.
Perfect. So how many years has the company been in business?
We're going on the 27th year.
I thought it was close to 30. Yeah.
And we've been with the heavies ever since.
Wow. I think I knew that. Yes. It's like, wow, time flies.
It does.
Even though I haven't been with the heavies that long, but nor am I that old. But
of course not.
No, I'm not 30 yet. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in the construction industry that you didn't face in the sports world?
You know, I think in construction, it's a little bit different. We've come a long way in the United States. We're so much further along than any of the other countries I worked in. But women still face challenges every day, whether it's people don't understand our leadership abilities or they question our leadership abilities. Maybe it's something where our workday is structured a little bit differently than our male counterpart. And those are the things that I face still every day. And we just have to overcome that by helping educate everybody that we work with.
Yeah, I mean, flexibility is really important. And I don't think that's just a woman thing. That is, that applies to men too. But the flexibility to be able to go get your children if they happen to get sick at school, or attend an activity that they're in, or even going to the doctor for yourself. We need that flexibility just like they do. And I think it is a lot of overthinking when it comes to women, but it still is, part of the separation between male leadership and female leadership.
I agree. And the lucky thing, I have a great job at Pyramid. They're a wonderful company to work for. I really feel a lot of that, whether it's discrimination or whatever you want to call it, externally. I still get phone calls or people coming into our office who call me a secretary or call me gal or okay girly or those types of things. Yeah. And it's just something we have to overcome. But the good news is, I think the younger generation will help out with that. They're used to working in diverse environments, diverse workplaces, whereas a lot of the older generations aren't.
Right.
So we'll see a lot of changes happen in the next few years.
And that's great. I mean, I think, there is still a place for the older generation because that historical knowledge and perspective is really important, particularly in construction, because construction changes slower.
Right.
And so you need, and it's also very much relationship based.
It is.
So how do you deal with that in the company?
I think it's really just, again, being assertive, listening, taking that time to be silent and learn everything that you can, and then end up becoming that teacher for those older generations. We're learning every day from them, but they need to also learn from us too.
That is so important, that the minute you stop learning, you die. I mean, it's like there never comes a day that you are too smart or too old to learn.
Yes.
And so if we would all just take a step back and know that we can learn from each other, it really makes a huge difference.
Yes. And I think the interesting thing, especially here locally, we're a union company, so you don't really see too much of a compensation gap with the genders. Women on average in the trades earn about $788 per week. That's 96% of what their male counterparts earn. That's actually pretty good. I mean, we still have a ways to go, but we're getting there. I think really it's not the pay that we're so worried about. We just need to be taken seriously, recognized for our leadership abilities and our organizational skills.
And provided the opportunity.
Yes.
I mean, the largest part of the battle is access. And once you have the access, it's opportunity to actually show what you're capable of doing. And I think that's where we as women have a responsibility to bring other women along.
Yes, and I think that's what women really should do, is help each other out. For women getting into the trades or in construction in general, if they just seek out these opportunities, whether it's through blogs or social media, connect with other women through those tools, learn about those trades and learn what opportunities are out there, whether it is a trade or in the office. There's a lot of areas to go into. It could be marketing, sales, business development, finance, for example. We just hired a CPA in our company, a very young woman who's been a great asset to us. So there are lots of opportunities. We just need to help mentor other women to get into those fields.
That's absolutely right. So along those lines, what advice would you give to women that are thinking about going into the construction industry?
I would say check out some construction online blogs. Look at enrolling in a construction course just to get to know what opportunities are out there. See if there's a program with a company where you could come in and maybe shadow somebody for a day. Really, it's about being assertive and knowing what your worth is and knowing that you're valuable, and then taking that and connecting with other women in those trades so that you can learn about it.
That is awesome. So is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
I just think construction is a great industry for women in general. Get out there this week and show your stuff.
Well, you heard it here first. Construction is the industry that you want to go into. We are so thankful to have Kristin here with us, and what a great interview and inspiration she has been. And with that, we'll see you next time.